Welcome to a celebration of the class of 2020, the 154th graduating class of Noble and Greenough School.
Springtime at Nobles, a time when everyone is in high spirits, reconnecting with their inner child, laughing together in the grass between classes. Excitement is in the air. Responsibilities are somewhere far away. You can feel the warmth of the sun. You can feel the depth of the community and how much we care about one another. It's a very special time. Springtime is Nobles.
Noble students and faculty unite around one another during good times and provide support to those enduring difficult times. I've always been able to count on people to make me smile, laugh, or give me a helping hand. I'll remember the energy and passion that I felt in assembly and the way it set the daily tone for the entire community.
It's almost impossible to put into words how special a place Nobles is, not only in terms of academics, but also with respect to the community. The spirit of collaboration that resides within the classroom walls fosters an environment where everyone can express themselves without fear of judgment or failure.
Nobles has taught me how to fail, how to pick myself up, and how to believe in myself. I'm really going to miss seeing this amazing, supportive community of people every day.
I will miss absolutely everything about Nobles, from the teachers to the campus to my classmates. As hard as it is to say goodbye, I know that the relationships formed during my time at Nobles will not end when I graduate.
I hope all future Noble students find that same sense of community that I've always found on campus. I feel like the luckiest kid in the world to have been able to attend Nobles.
I'm pleased to introduce you to student co-presidents Madie Majernik and Janfaza, our tremendously talented and inspiring student leaders who will welcome you to this special day. I was thrilled to present them last night with the head of school prizes, recognizing their extraordinary leadership this year. Thank you, Madie and Noah.
Good morning, everyone. To our parents and guardians, grandparents, friends, siblings, little siblings, thanks for taking a break from TikTok. It means a lot. And most importantly, to the class of 2020. Thank you all for being here this morning.
Welcome. Noah and I wish that we could be looking at all your faces right now instead of imagining them, but we know that we will be together soon, so we do not want to focus our time today on all that was lost this spring.
Instead, we want to focus on all of you and the incredible experiences we've shared together. It truly has been a wild ride, and the truth is, our favorite memories from our time here at Nobles have come from times when the whole community bands together as one.
Honestly, some of the best memories come from times when things go wrong. I remember winter of our freshman year. It was the cell comic book project for bio. My partner was Patrick Denning. I don't think he actually knows this story, but Patrick and I divided up the work. We wrote a script, and I was to draw and assemble the book and place it on Mr. Ho's desk by Friday at 3:10. But I totally messed up. At 2:40 on Friday, I came screaming into the library loft. I had forgotten to make the drawings. All I could think was, oh my God, Patrick is going to hate me. I'm going to be the reason we fail the project. He did everything he was supposed to do. I ruined everything.
It's times like Madie just described, when our whole community comes together, that we will carry with us most into the future. Times like when hundreds of us gathered on the soccer field to cheer on our boys' soccer team in penalty kicks this fall, eventually storming the field and all jumping around together after our fellow senior Joe Todd saved the final shot. That moment. Or times like Vinnick Theater erupting on 6 consecutive occasions for standing ovations to congratulate the cast and crew of Les Mis. Or like when senior Maeve Connolly scored a beautiful goal and raised her hand to her ear to rally up all her friends in the crowd in the girls' hockey championship game out in Worcester this winter. Or like this fall, when the choral concert was held at the First Church and Parish in Dedham, and at the end of the concert, everyone in the building, students, faculty, parents, friends, came together as one, singing in unison, and flooded the church with our voices, fueled by our common bond, Nobles. In those moments, times when we were fully immersed in the Nobles community, memories were born that will endure long after our time here expires. And it's those moments that have made our time here at Nobles so special.
Week 1 of quarantine, I was deep cleaning my room when I came across a quote from the British writer and speaker Alan Watts. I haven't been able to get it out of my head. He wrote, "Life is a drama, and a drama is a deception. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, And the thing was to get to that end, but we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played. The class of 2020, we have spent our years on this campus working tirelessly towards this end goal, playing spike ball on the beach, a diploma, college, whatever we imagined for ourselves after watching those who came before us. But this purpose, this end that we were working towards to mark the completion of our Nobles journey, vanished. Sure, championships, words on banners, putting trophies on the shelf is great, but when I think back on the past 6 years, I'm not thinking about that. And I'm willing to bet that you aren't either. This class, more than any other before us, has been given the gift of time for intense reflection before our time as Nobles students has run out. We realized that the stuff that makes Nobles special, the reason why we keep coming back every morning, was because of the little moments along the way.
And it could even be as simple as just showing up. In fact, I believe the biggest thing that you can give of yourself to a community that you care about is your time. This year, in that area in particular, I want it to be just like my advisor, Mr. Denning. I want it to be like Mr. Denning because he's a part of a very unique group, a select, very important group of faculty who are at every single Nobles event to support our school and support our kids. Games, shows, concerts, whatever it is, they're there. It's him, Mr. Nickerson, Dr. Hall, Mr. De Leon, and a few others. Mr. Kellenbeck was a part of this group too. And these faculty giving their time to show that they care, it makes a difference. Because we, as students, truly appreciate our faculty showing that they care by actually being there. Just as we, as students, truly appreciate our classmates and our friends from other grades showing us that they care by actually being there. So, my advice to younger students, and also a charge to younger students, show up, be there. Be there for your friends, for your peers, and for your school. But most importantly, be there for each other. Because just like this group of faculty who are at every Nobles event, it's appreciated more than you know.
We are two voices of many, of 126 graduates to be exact. Frankly, nothing Noah and I could say and in any amount of time could convey the gratitude that we have for this place, how it has shaped us during these formative years. But, as in so many ways, it is different this year. The class of 2020 has spoken. Please, if you haven't already, read the senior profiles posted on the Nobles Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. There is no better way to understand how, in our own words, Nobles has touched each of us.
We'd like to close with a few thank yous. First, to our parents and guardians. Thank you for all the love and support you've given us over the years. Today's graduation is as much yours as it is ours, and we would not be here today without you.
Dr. Hall, in your first 3 years, this community has faced some pretty unbelievable challenges. You have led us with resilience and strength. We know how hard you work, all hours of the day and night, to ensure that this place keeps running, and we thank you.
To all our faculty and staff, to everybody here, thank you for making Nobles what it is. We wish we could be with you today, either in the receiving line or simply just passing by, so we could have the opportunity to at least try to express our gratitude for you. You've been with us every step of the way. You've seen us at our best and at our worst, and through it all, you've stuck with us. You've given so much of yourselves to us, so know that we are talking to you when we say thank you.
And finally, to the class of 2020, we did it, and we made history in the process. What a pleasure it has been to grow up with you guys.
All the laughs, all the memories, all the fun we've had together, we'll remember it forever.
It's been real.
So, welcome everyone to our graduation. Turn the brightness up on your screen.
Make sure you've got the volume at the perfect setting.
And go grab anything you might want from the refrigerator now, before we get started.
And of course, enjoy the show.
A few weeks ago, as I thought about what I want to say to you today, I reached out to Fred Gardner, a Nobles graduate from the class of 1944. Fred has been on my mind these last few months as I thought about the journey he and his classmates faced during their graduating year at Nobles, and how it was, in a way very similar to what you have faced, suddenly disrupted in significant ways by what was happening in the world around them. I knew that Fred had left Nobles after his Class 2 year in 1943. Since he had turned 18, he could not avoid being drafted to serve in the Army to fight in World War II, even though he had not yet finished high school. Missing both his senior year and graduation at Nobles, Fred did not return to America from war until 1945. I wanted to gain some insights from Fred, to learn from his journey of disruption and loss some wisdom I could pass along to you today. What I was seeking and expecting was a reflection of how hard the time was and how much hurt he experienced in missing out on such important milestones and moments at Nobles. What he chose to share, however, was quite different than I was expecting. When I asked him to describe the time when he was drafted and left his home and left Nobles, he quickly jumped to stories about how well prepared he was by Nobles' language department, so much so that the Army initially wanted him to be a translator. While he was ultimately put in the infantry, beginning his tour in Normandy, he said he continued to use his language skills he credits Nobles faculty for building up to help his fellow soldiers navigate difficult conversations. When I asked him what it was like to come back to America having missed his graduation and the closure with his Nobles community, he responded with stories of his lasting friendships, including with one of his closest friends, Bobby Lawrence, for whom our beloved Lawrence Auditorium is named. He shared story after story about his lifelong Nobles friendships and what those friendships meant to his relationship with Nobles for the 76 years since his graduating year. I honestly had a hard time getting Fred to answer the questions that were the original reason for my call. The closest I could get was when I asked him how he ultimately received his diploma. He shared that when he returned from war in 1945, he received a lovely package from Headmaster Elliot Putnam that included his diploma along with a personal letter. At the memory of Putnam, however, he very quickly segued again to how Nobles supported him in his college journey from there as he headed off to Amherst, and went on to share more stories of the faculty at Nobles he loved and kept in touch with in the many years that followed. I called Fred Gardner expecting to hear stories of heartache, challenges overcome. I expected to hear about his loss and perhaps some advice he wanted me to share with you for how to overcome this challenging time. Instead, I heard about hopefulness, optimism, opportunity, and of course, the relationships that endured. What Fred Gardner shared was exactly what I needed to hear. I will often tell students who have made a mistake of some kind, even a big mistake, that life is not defined by the mistake you make, but by what you do next, by the choices you make after your mistake. I believe just as strongly that life is not defined by what you miss out on, but by what you do instead, by how you choose to approach the new path laid out in front of you. When your life path suddenly veers, and when an expected outcome you felt you needed along your life journey is taken away, it's difficult to see that as anything short of a loss. I would like to suggest, though, that there is more than one pathway to the same place. There are, of course, also new places those new paths will lead to that you never imagined possible. Just as the predictable milestones and moments are so much easier to latch onto as keys to the next mile marker, they are that much harder to lose in the moment. The uncertainty and worry that is created when they are suddenly removed can make it hard to generate the leap of faith and the optimism needed to see the loss in positive ways as a new path being opened. This is, of course, most hard to do the first time it happens in life. But when it happens to you again, and then again, you begin to see a pattern, and you gain confidence in how the unexpected paths, those created by loss or missed opportunity, can take you to great places. The more your life presents you with new paths, the more experience will tell you that this disappointment may, in the end, be a very good and hopeful thing. I want to be clear that what you will experience in the coming months and years is not meant to make up for what you missed this spring. Of course not. Nor does it make it feel any less sad and disappointing in the moment. Of course not. Even if you believe what I'm telling you intellectually, I have no doubt this moment is hard emotionally for many of you. So what can we do when what we are feeling is grief and worry about what we are missing and what we can't control, while we're cautiously waiting for that new path to lead us forward? First, we need to hold firm to hope as we look ahead. This time of uncertainty will end, and we will find great light on the other side of this chapter. We will come back together again, and we will celebrate the great class of 2020 on campus soon. Your connection to one another and to Nobles will only be stronger. I believe your memories of this time years later will not be of loss or of grief, but will, just like Fred Gardner's, be filled by positive memories of your relationships with one another, your faculty, and the school. Years from now, you will remember what you learned and gained during this time, not what you lost. You will remember how your peers and faculty rallied around you, not just today, but for the months and years that follow. Second, this time when you feel most uncertain is the very time to draw upon and deepen the community that surrounds you. You have not gotten here alone, nor will you navigate your next path alone. The Nobles tent always stands strong for you, whether we gather under it for assembly or we find it while we are physically apart. It is a community of friends, teachers, coaches, and advisors who stand alongside you now and always. Finally, I believe there is no time more important for us to live out our mission of leadership for the public good. When we focus on what we can give and how we can lead and serve, it puts our energy towards positive outcomes that restore our sense of agency and optimism. When I asked Fred Gardner for some final words he would like me to share with all of you, his response was to tell you to serve, to lead in ways that make a difference for others. He referenced his time in the Army as a way he was able to lead and serve, but noted the multitude of ways the world needs Nobles graduates making a difference right now, locally, nationally, and globally. This is a time to take action, to use your tremendous gifts and limitless kindness to make a difference in the lives of others. Helping others, of course, ultimately makes a difference in your own life as you reap the benefits of giving of yourself to make your communities better. You can uniquely make the world better, and the world really needs you right now. I'm enormously inspired by what I know this great class of 2020 will go on to do, of the endless pathways you will follow in your life story. Yes, your journey from Nobles is different than you had envisioned when this year started, but it will be no less great. I am just so proud of you. I can't wait to see what awaits each one of you. I will be there, along with all of your faculty, cheering you along every single step of the way. Congratulations. I next have the privilege of presenting this year's Vernon L. Greene Award for Faculty Excellence. The Vernon L. Greene Award for Faculty Excellence was established in 1982 by David Arnold of the class of 1940 in honor of Vernon Greene, who for many years and many people embodied faculty excellence. The award is presented annually to a member of the faculty who encourages and nurtures academic excellence within the school, whose pedagogy is distinguished, and whose commitment to students is thorough. In my recent conversation with Fred Gardner, he actually mentioned Vernon Greene as the language teacher who influenced him most deeply. He then paused and he said, well, you've probably never heard of Vernon Greene. It was a thrill to share with Fred that in fact it is his very legacy that we will honor with this award. I am thrilled to present the 2020 Vernon L. Greene Award for Faculty Excellence to Talazy Harrington. Talazy Rivera began her teaching career at Nobles in September 1977, immediately following her graduation from Harvard. I imagine she did not envision then that Nobles would be her home, literally and figuratively, for the next 43 years. For over 4 decades, Talazy has epitomized the traits we uphold when we think about excellence in teaching at Nobles. She has modeled relationship before task each and every day in her work with the thousands of Nobles students and colleagues who have benefited from her talent, kindness, and commitment. Talazy has always been a role model of what it means to be a lifelong learner. Always pushing herself towards new challenges, she is consistently one of the first to take on new roles, adopt new technologies, teach new courses, and try new pedagogies. Talazy is known for her willingness to teach anything and everything that is needed. Enormously versatile and flexible, she will teach our most rigorous courses in the same year she is supporting our most struggling students, adapting her pedagogy and practice in whatever way is needed to best support her students and the school. Over the decades, Talazy has taught just about every level of math, coached crew, served as the math department chair, run the boarding department, worked in the Academic Achievement Center, and served as a key member of the faculty growth and evaluation team. For over 30 years, Talazy has been involved with the design, planning, and implementation of this faculty evaluation program and has taken great joy in working with colleagues as they grow and improve their craft. In 1991, Nobles began its partnership with Upward Bound, and Talazy jumped at the chance to be involved. In the 30 years of UB at Nobles, Talazy has, incredibly, been involved for all but 2 of the summers. Colleague Deb Harrison notes, quote, deeply committed to decades of Upward Bound students, Talazy has instilled in them a belief in their abilities that has helped pave the way to college for many who have been the first in their family to graduate from college. Unwavering in her encouragement of the hundreds of UB students she's taught, Talesi's dedication to them has been integral in helping to shape the enduring values and ethics of the Nobles Upward Bound program, end quote. When she arrived at Nobles, Talesi was one of only 13 female faculty members and the first female faculty member of color. Talesi has been involved in DEI work at Nobles decades before it was a department, deeply proud of her Puerto Rican heritage and strongly committed to the ways our school can continue to be a more diverse and inclusive community. Talesi has been committed to providing new educational opportunities, particularly in STEM fields, to girls and students of color throughout her lifetime. Talesi's impact on Nobles, then and now, is best summarized by her colleagues. Nickerson notes, quote, known for her hard work and prodigious preparation, her organizational skills put the rest of us to shame. She has high standards, and yet she is known for being extremely generous with her extra help. Any student who had tea for a teacher is always well prepared for the next course, end quote. Longtime office mates Jan and Clark reflects, quote, our shared office was the place where I learned over time of the capaciousness of Talesi's heart. Through observing her at work with colleagues in the math department and as an evaluation chair, I came to know the culture of support and compassion that defines our professional lives at Nobles. No matter how busy her schedule, packed daily from 7:30 a.m. to well after the school day ends with classes and extra help sessions, she only saves time for lunch when hot dogs are on the menu. Talesi will make time for you. And when you have sought her help or confided in her even once, you are her people, end quote. Talesi's commitment to education, which is, of course, shared by her husband and colleague, Mark Carrington, certainly rubbed off on their children. Nobles graduates Kate from 2000, Michael from 2003, and Bo from 2008, all of whom are now educators themselves. When I first met Talesi, I was immediately struck by her passion for her students and colleagues and her dedication to both Nobles and the craft of teaching. I was equally struck by the warmth, kindness, and humor that make her someone you seek out if you want to feel good about your day and the Nobles community. I am personally grateful to count T as a colleague and friend, and am thrilled to give her this incredibly well-deserved honor. It is my pleasure to award this year's Vernon L. Greene Award to Talesi Harrington. Congratulations. Next, we will hear a beautiful rendition of the song, You've Got a Friend in Me by the First Class Ensemble.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Oh, you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got troubles, then I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. If we stick together, we can see it through. 'Cause you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. Now some of the folk might be a little smarter than I am, bigger, stronger too, maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. Just you and me now, and as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me.
Noble Nobles Board of Trustees is led by President Beth Reilly, a Nobles graduate from the class of 1987. Beth will share a few words today with our graduates and families on this special occasion.
Greetings, distinguished members of the class of 2020 of Noble and Greenough School. Like all of you, I've been home for the past couple of months. For me, that's meant lots of time with my husband and 9 and 12-year-old boys. As a result, when I thought about a graduation message for you, all I could think to do is to make a TikTok, or maybe show you some of the dude-perfect trick shots my sons and I have tried and failed to perfect. But then I thought, you deserve more. And I ought to try to preserve some of the self-respect and dignity that's getting harder and harder to maintain with each passing week at home. I will miss being with you on graduation. I will miss the privilege of looking out at the sea of faces of your loved ones, full of pride and love, excitement for your future, and a tinge of sadness about what's being left behind. I will miss the honor of seeing each of you stride across stage to receive your diploma and welcome you into the graduate body. But please know, all of those emotions are being felt just as strong today, even if we're not together to share them. In fact, we're all even more impressed, even more proud of the way in which you've handled yourselves over the past couple months of disappointment and adversity. We've all had our moments, but the way you've conducted yourselves has reminded us of the tremendous leadership that you've provided to the Noble and Greenough community for your entire time here. It's the stuff of legends. You leave a legacy that we will remember for a long time to come. I think you'll find that Nobles is a forever home for you. It will feel like home when you meet a graduate across the globe and share a laugh, a memory of a favorite teacher, a favorite spot on campus. And I hope you will return to campus when we all can. I hope you'll come back and reflect on cherished memories that you had of your time here and share with us the incredible things that you're sure to do in your future. For now, thank you for all you've done for the Nobles community, and congratulations, graduates, the class of 2020.
Every spring, Class 1 students elect a faculty graduation speaker. This year, it comes as no surprise that Senior Master Nick Nickerson was chosen by the students. Every fall, the Senior Master addresses the community in one of our opening assemblies. It feels very fitting that he should close out our year as well. A stalwart of our faculty, Mr. Nickerson is always an anchor as well as a voice of light and hope. I very much look forward to hearing his words this morning. Thank you, Nick.
I will speak to you in a room. I will speak to you in a tent. I will speak to you via Zoom at your graduation event. Good morning, members of the class of 2020, parents and family, faculty and friends. Today is such a special moment in your life, and despite my love of Dr. Seuss rhymes and rambling metaphors, I hope that I can convey how deeply all of us care for and celebrate you, our graduating seniors. If life is a river, do I have that right, Mr. Mark? I think I learned that in 10th grade English, that rivers represent the journey of life and fences represent restrictions of society? But I could have that wrong. After all, I thought that Huck Finn was a story about a raft adventure. But if life is a river, then high school can be compared to a series of confusing, adventurous rapids. While you are deep in the rapids, you don't have much time to reflect on the experience. You're just trying your best to navigate the waves and stay upright. High school is exhilarating, fun, and a lot of work. Graduation is the calm pool in the river after the last rapid. You get to collect your thoughts, share high fives, and empty your boat of the water you took on during the frenzy. At some point, we'll need to look downstream to see what lies ahead. But for now, let's pause in these quiet waters and celebrate the journey so far. I have these random memories of moments from this year. Owen O'Connor on an outing club hike. Owen is an earnest and hardworking student, a rugged athlete, but on his first outing club hike, after climbing ladders bolted to a cliff, crawling through a cave, and then edging his way along a sloping ledge, he asked me, "Does the school know that you take kids on hikes like this?" Yes, Owen, they do. And I have fond memories of all the hikes and climbs taken with Charlie, Wyatt, Kat, and Liam, and so many others. I'm sure that the rest of you in this class have equally fond memories of all the extracurriculars that defined your time at Nobles, your teams and ensembles, your chess clubs and sister, etc. I remember the Hot Wings Nobleman interview between Cam and CP, two of my favorite people, and the easy give and take. The mutual respect between them was so evident that the interview should be played on a loop in the admissions office entitled Student-Faculty Relationships at Nobles. Your class has built so many enduring relationships with this faculty. Of course, I can't think of Cam now without envisioning him in that wild outfit near the end of Les Mis. Cam, only you have the stage presence to pull that off. I remember Monday, December 2nd, the day after I learned that I had lost another good friend to cancer. First Bill Kellenbeck last May, and now, less than 7 months later, Guy Autry, a Nobles grad and the best man at my wedding. Near the end of calculus class that day, after teaching a rather subdued lesson, I told them a little bit about Guy, and then I dismissed the class. But I remember so many of you stayed behind to offer me some words of comfort. You were such a kind and caring class. And there were many other moments, watching Harry and Ella score those amazing goals at Rivers, the seniors getting the whole school up out of their seats, dancing and singing in the Tent of Miracles, Noah and Madie's opening video of I Can't Stop the Feeling, the hacky sack circle, hacking while it was snowing outside, and all those large and small moments of triumph in the classroom. But if this year could be summarized in one sentence, it would be the quote on Haley's notebook. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It is about learning to dance in the rain. You're a class that has danced and hacked with exceptional joy, regardless of the weather. All of this brings me to a poem that was on a sailboat picture that hung on my bedroom wall throughout my childhood. I hope its meaning resonates with you in these unsettled times. One ship sails east and another west while the selfsame breezes blow. It's the set of the sail and not the gale that determines the way they go. Like the ships at sea or the ways of fate as we journey along through life, it's the set of our soul that determines our goal and not the calm nor strife. My father graduated from high school in 1937. I don't know if they had a senior prom that year, but if they did, it would have been a rather subdued affair. Still in the grips of the Great Depression, with the winds of war whipping across Europe, there was a lot of uncertainty in my father's senior year. Each generation has its challenges. You don't get to choose the direction that the winds blow during your journey, but you do get to choose how you set your sails. And it has been a real inspiration to this old sea dog to watch you navigate the past year, and in particular the past few months, with such compassion and unerring instincts. Yes, you lost opportunities and special moments this spring, just as many in my father's generation missed the birth of a child or interrupted their college education due to the war. I do not minimize the uncertainty and disruption in your lives. Summer jobs, college in the fall, the inequities and injustices and chaos in this world. So stand at the ready to adjust your sails. But one cannot sail directly into the wind. You need to tack back and forth, so at times the route is more circuitous. In the summer of 1973, I was between my junior and senior year of college, and instead of the factory job that I had worked at previous summers, I applied for and got a very prestigious internship at RCA's Research Center. And then the winds shifted. A Middle East oil crisis, gas shortages, a recession, and RCA unfortunately cut their intern program. Now I needed a summer job again, and for a plan B, my college career office suggested that I apply to a teaching internship at the St. Paul's summer program. I got that job, and I fell in love with teaching that summer, and I never tacked back again towards that research job at RCA. Who knows where the wind will take you? When you do arrive at your next destination, I hope that you remember the story about the mosaic and my advice. Don't try so hard to fit in that you totally blend in. We hope that Nobles polished you, smoothed some of your rough edges, while at the same time you kept your core identity. In fact, we hope that Nobles helped you in some way bring out the luster of your true colors. A mosaic is more beautiful, more vivid if its tiles have some contrast. You are a unique and amazing person. There is no one else just like you. So celebrate your aquamarine self. Let your light shine. Spread your joy. Learn to dance in the rain. And your light will radiate across the darkness of any shore. I close with this prayer, taken from the lyrics from the Rod Stewart song, Forever Young. It is the prayer of every adult who knows you and cares for you. May you grow to be proud, dignified, and true, and do unto others as you'd have done to you. Be courageous and be brave, and in my heart you'll always stay forever young. And when you finally fly away, I'll be hoping that I served you well. For all the wisdom of a lifetime no one can ever tell, but whatever road you choose, we're right behind you, win or lose, forever young. COVID-19 may be a highly contagious disease, but it is not nearly as contagious as your hopes and dreams. It is not nearly as powerful as all the knowledge you have gained here at Nobles, and it is not nearly as enduring as your commitment and determination to make this a better world. It is the set of your soul that determines your goal, and not the calm nor strife. Congratulations, class of 2020. Know that we are proud of you. We will miss you. We will always right behind you. Thank you, and Godspeed.
Next, we will watch a video created by the extraordinary Ben Heider, who went above and beyond this year to create an extra special video for the class of 2020.
Working on my backwards walk, walking with no shoes or socks, as the time rewinds to the end of May. I wish we'd never met then, met today. I'm working on my faults and cracks, filling in the blanks and gaps. And when I write them out, they don't make sense. I need you to pencil in the rest. I'm working on drawing a straight line, and I'll draw until I get one right. It's bold and dark, girl, can't you see? I've done drawn a line between you and me. I'm working hard on walking now. My shoes keep sticking to the ground. I've been working on my backwards walk. There's nowhere else for me to go. Step back to you just one last time. Say yes before I change my mind. Say yes before
All right, let's get this thing moving.
a problem, hitting harder every time, though it don't speak. Ooh, you said it felt so easy when we were 17. You said, I said, we said it, we said it. Now we've traded being close to keeping company. You felt, I felt, we felt it, we felt it. Can't hear what you're thinking, throw it out in the open. Love, I'm running out of reasons to stay crying now. Could be over in a second, throw it out in the open. Love, I'm running out of patience. You're so crying now. Why? You're so crying now. Why? How are you fine while I'm staying silent on my side? 4 a.m. light never seems to leave me, doesn't help me when I have to clear my mind. Ooh, you said it felt so easy when we were 17. You said, I said, we said it, we said it. Now we've traded being close to keeping company. You felt, I felt, we felt it, we felt it. Can't hear what you're thinking, throw it out in the open. Love, I'm running out of reasons to stay crying now. Could be over in a second, throw it out in the open. Love, I'm running out of patience. You're so crying now. Why? 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 You're so crying now. You're so quiet now. You're so quiet.
Each year, the graduating class elects 2 student speakers who can best represent the sentiments of the overall class and whose leadership and character have represented the class of 2020 proudly. This year, those 2 speakers are Saffiyah Coker and Will Moore. It has been a joy to get to know both of them this year, and I look forward to hearing their remarks today. We will hear first from Saffiyah, followed by Will.
Dear Noble and Greenough class of 2020, if there is one thing that I will take away from my final year of Nobles, it will be that nothing is set in stone. Only a few months ago, I was sitting in Gleason eating pizza while cramming for a physics test. Then before I knew it, I was sitting at home speaking to each of you through a screen. It seems as though each of our moments have been transformed without our consent. I should be turning my head left and right to look into each of your eyes directly. We should be sitting in a tent on Castle Field, smelling the freshly cut grass and awaiting our diplomas. But what should be is not our reality. Since March 11th, I have felt a gripping fear that I would be stuck in my final year of Nobles. Leaving without a chance to say goodbye felt truly impossible. I still struggle to move on from what could have been. Every day during quarantine, I have thought of what I should be doing. On a gorgeous day, I picture myself on the water with my boat. I can hear the laughter from English class as Mr. Mock and Mr. De Leon tell a joke. At lunch, I attempt to recreate Flick's famous grilled cheese, to no avail. It is hard to believe that only a few months ago, life was completely different. No one anticipated graduating from high school in the middle of a global pandemic. The few things that we knew for certain were no longer true. I anticipated seeing you play spikeball on the beach, receiving roses at your last games, sauntering across the Vinnick stage and counting down in Gleason. I looked forward to the afternoon trips to Ron's and the late nights spent studying in dorm study hall. We did not know that our lives would be filled with pain, loss, and sacrifice. No one knew that we would not be sitting here together today. I often feel helpless and insignificant as I scroll through my Instagram feed and I see Black lives being lost, a virus ravaging communities, poverty, and global suffering. We are witnessing the shortcomings of the world with our very own eyes. This is the curveball that life has dealt us. Now the question becomes, how will we deal with it? The answer to that question lies within the halls of Shattuck, the seats in the library, the courts in the MAC, the stages in the Art Center, and the grass on the fields. The answer lies within each of us. We are capable of becoming the change we wish to see in the world because Noble and Greenough School has equipped us with the tools. We are capable of changing the world because we know each other. Class of 2020, we are the future. We are leaving here today ready to emerge as the leaders the world needs. Nobles has been preparing us to emerge into the world since our very first days on campus. Sister to Sister has taught me how to contribute my voice to a conversation. Each of my classes from AP Year with Miss Puckett to Freshman Biology with Mr. Ho has shown me the value of hard work and rigor. I was shown camaraderie and true friendship by the Nobles crew team. The value of conversation was instilled in me with chats with Ilda at Cafe 2000, members of Flick, and the greater Nobles community. While I long to experience each and every one of these moments one last time, I know that I'm all the better for having experienced them in the first place. How you face adversity and persevere speaks volumes about who you are as a person. We are a class that perseveres. We have had our reality ripped away from us, but we are still standing. We are still standing here today because of our family, teachers, coaches, advisors, classmates, and community who will always stand behind us. We are going to impact the world because of the little and big moments with each other. For example, the team dinners, conversations in the hallways, rides up from the MAC, Winterfest, and puzzles in the library all make our Nobles experience. These moments are right alongside our Zoom classes, virtual class meetings, and perpetually awkward Zoom breakout rooms. This is where we have laughed, learned, stumbled, and gotten back up. Each of these moments add up to make us the class of 2020. The answer to the question of how to deal with life's curveballs lies within each of us. Let the moments where you have felt motivated, loved, challenged, and frustrated drive you to create the future you wish to see. Class of 2020, we are truly unique. I mean, it's not every day that Cardi B, the Obamas, Timothée Chalamet, LeBron, Shaq, Megan Rapinoe, and so many other celebrities deliver a commencement for your graduation. We will never be alone because we have this school, each other, and the entire world rooting for our success. We may not physically be able to see each other right now, but we are always with each other. This experience has bonded us together. We are a class that comes out stronger on the other side, and we will always have a home at 10 Campus Drive. Congratulations, class of 2020. We made it. See you all later. Love, Saffiyah.
First off, I just want to thank the class of 2020 for choosing me to speak in graduation. Here's my speech, and I hope you like it. My path to Nobles was far from ordinary. Back in the year 2014, I was a 7th grader living in a tiny Vermont town, traveling at least 3 hours every weekend to play hockey games in Boston. One day in January, after a game in Saugus, my mother told me we weren't going home. She said, "We are staying at your cousin's house tonight, and we are touring Nobles tomorrow." In the Vermont town we lived in, there was no public high school, so it wasn't unusual for kids in 8th grade to look at a variety of schools. But I was in 7th grade, a year away from having to worry about that, so it was a little confusing. But I'm a pretty calm guy, so I just went with the flow. When I got on campus, the first thing I noticed was the castle, 3 times bigger than my tiny Vermont school that had 10 kids per grade. Thought that a place like Nobles would never accept some small town Vermont kid, but I did my interview, and we drove back home. About a week later, I was told the real reason that I went to Nobles that day. I'm paraphrasing here, but my mother in a more loving way said to me, "Will, your aunt has cancer. and we are moving to Boston. In life, we make sacrifices for those we love. And when I heard the word cancer, I knew I had to be mature. I knew I had to make sacrifices, because I love my aunt, and I love my family. I was accepted to Nobles, and I acted excited, but there was so much fear and uncertainty inside of me about whether my aunt would be okay, and whether I would. I had to come to terms with the fact that I would never be an 8th grader at my Vermont middle school, where being in 8th grade is the equivalent of being a senior. I wouldn't have that long-awaited chance to finally be the oldest and best player on the team, or the star of the spring play, or attend my 8th grade graduation at our town hall. Instead, I went to Nobles. When I got to Nobles, I was the oldest in the class because I had repeated a grade, and there were many times where I felt like I didn't belong there. During study hall, I would go on Google Earth on my iPad to zoom in on my old town in Vermont, wishing I was back home. My homesickness was taking a toll on me. So there was one day, I just looked in the mirror and said, "Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Move on." There was nothing I loved more than hockey, so I decided I would put all of my efforts into training for hockey tryouts the next year. I was not a recruit, and the coaches had no clue who I was, but I threw everything into it and made the team as a freshman. We had a terrible season that year, but the guys took me in as their brother. I now had a school family to add to my extended Boston family. That same year, to the utter shock and confusion of my completely unreligious parents, I decided on my own to take confirmation classes and start attending the church down the street. The minister discovered that I had never had a baptism, which is a prerequisite for confirmation. We set a date in May, and she told me to select 2 godparents to sponsor me. This being April, the hockey group chat had been dead for a while, but one night, out of the blue, I typed, "Who wants to be my godfather?" To my surprise, my phone started exploding. After scrolling through a series of proposals, I decided on John Murray and Pierce Kenny, also known as Muzz and PK. A few minutes later, one of our captains changed the name of the group chat to Countdown to Donnie's Baptism. My hockey nickname is Donnie. It's a long story that I won't get into. When I told the minister that 2 hockey teammates, one of whom is a year younger than me, were going to be my godfathers, she surprisingly loved the idea. The morning of the baptism, I cut my lips shaving and was convinced it was a sign from God that the baptism would be a disaster. But all of a sudden, 20 hockey players poured through the doors. The congregation, now outnumbered, looked stunned as this throng of adolescents in suits squeezed into the family section. Muzz immediately made fun of my cut lip, and I started laughing, and it eased my nerves. Thank you for that, Muzz. A blast of the organ announced the start of the service, and my team respectfully followed along, singing hymns and reciting passages. That day, Noah, who is Jewish, took his first communion, believe it or not. Muzz and PK delivered their godfatherly vows to perfection, and after the minister poured holy water on my head, the team let out a cheer. Now came the part where the minister would typically circumnavigate the church, hoisting a baby for all to behold. Instead, she paraded me and my band of teammates up and down the aisles. Moments later, Snapchat blew up with photos, videos, and captions like, "Donnie is a son of God," and "Congrats to my boy Donnie on his commitment to heaven." This was just one example of when the Nobles community has shown up for me and poured out love and support when I most needed it. And it was one of the happiest days of my life. This spring, our class learned that due to coronavirus, we would not be going back to Nobles for our senior spring, or experiencing the traditional graduation ceremony. It felt a bit like deja vu, like back in 2014 when I learned that I would never get to experience graduating from 8th grade. Anyone that knows me knows I love movies. And I, like everyone, wanted that fairy tale ending to our senior year like you see in the movies. But it's not like all the best movies are high school movies. And I'm sure someone is going to whip up a damn good COVID-19 movie. Yes, we missed out on some traditions, but we're also a part of history. I feel so lucky to have gone to Nobles and to have been in the same grade with so many remarkable people who I've learned so much from. Yes, I still sometimes miss my home in Vermont and my old friends and old life. But the thing I miss most right now is being with all of you. You realize how much you miss something when it's gone, but you guys aren't gone forever. When this is all over, we will be able to see each other again. And that moment, being reunited with all of you, will be so much sweeter because of our time apart. Thank you. God bless.
And now I am thrilled to recognize every single member of the great class of 2020.
Jeffrey Delali Alfonso, Catherine Jane Armstrong, Samuel Christian Athanasia, Colby James Bailey, Alexander Jungching Bao, Andrew Thomas Barry, William Rockley Batty V, Oliver Albright Bernstein, Kylie Melista Bertos, Ethan Pierce Bondick, Haley Elizabeth Brown, Cullen Joseph Burke, Marielle Grace Capone, Alessandra Elizabeth Castro Vasallo, Tianyi Chen, Kiyu Duan Choi, Sophia Veronica Massenray Coker, Maeve Catherine Connolly, Brett Everett Cosby, Finn William Crawford, John Patrick Cronin, Yara Brandao da Silva, Gianna Victoria de la Cruz, John Noel de los Santos Fragoso, Lucy Stowe Del Cole, Patrick Richard Denning, Reese McGregor Dickinson, John Anthony DeNovi, John Everett Dixon, Daniel William Donahue IX, Tate Elizabeth Donnelly, Celia Finn Dorsey, Paloma Donatella Marie Ducrest, Wyatt Thomas Ellison, Charlotte Moore Epker, Daniel Chaim Epstein, Max Andrew Farber, Kylie Eileen Flynn, Jack Russell Freeman, Rebecca Buckley Gill, Angela Caroline Giordano, Natalie Arlene Guadron Tolosa, Charles Anlejino Guerra, Samuel Joseph Guerrero, Finn Thomas Harrington, Kevin Reilly Harrington, Clay Thompson Harris, Anushka Harvey, Nicholas Bailey Hazard, Caroline Ann Higgins, Sakura Clifford Hinanoya, Noah Seth Janfaza, Samuel Coleman Janke, Bronwyn Hope Jensen, William Thomas Keating, Lauren Ann Kelly, Pierce William Kenny, Lauren Alice Kewen, Rishi Sethi Khanna, Anne Marie Kawand, Eleni Teresa Kinney, Matthew Peter Kirkman, Anna Rolling Koffler, Robert Canavan Lapsley, Cameron Murdoch Large, Hannah Becker Lowry, Braden Michael Bruno Levine, Sophia Francis Lowry, Karen Luo, Natalie Grace Maher, Madeline Brooks Majernik, Betsy Putnam Matthew, Meredith Jane McBride, Jake Michael McHugh, Isabella Reese Madeira, Christopher John Millay, Henry Richard Mitchell, William Manning Moore, Liam Anthony Nawara, Owen Kondo O'Connor, Akaolu Chukwu Obwe, Emily Margaret Orschlin, Alara Isabella Osgook, David Q. Pang, Olivia Grace Patz, Nicholas William Perez, Jackson Reagan Finney, Cassidy Torrin Piersack, Catherine Ruth Poole, Diana Antonine Pooh, Harrison Lowell Quillen, Tatiana Fugolso Racklin, Smita Anshu Rajan, Harrison Minan Roberts, Cosette Elizabeth Rose Russo Neal, Sebastian Gonzalo Sanchez, Jake Mahendra Sanghavi, Casey Michael Severo, Adeline Barbara Seawalk, Claire Sophia Huddleston Shapiro, Rohan Dang Sharma, Rahul Joginder Singh, Vikram Ajay Singh, Ethan Thomas Reza Skelly, Theodore Henry Schlossberg, Grace Munlai Smith, Mark Vilsmark Smith, Elizabeth Keene Stevenson, Jasper William Tank, Casey Jane Tatel, Nicholas Frederick Taylor, Julia Michelle Temple, Harrison Frederick Terrio, Brian Zachary Thomas, Noah Samuel Thomas, Joseph Owen Todd, Nathan Abraham Trudell, Tuan An Trung, Devin Rose Tyree, Tobias Elliott Urell, Samantha Maureen Walkie, Louisa Wharton Wright, Sean Shuang Wu, Uta Emery Yalchinda, Lauren Bauer Young, Griffin Joseph Zink.
While I know this is not the ceremony under the tent that we'd all envisioned for this day, today is an important day for us to celebrate the class of 2020. Today's virtual ceremony is the first of what will be many opportunities we take to celebrate this great class in the months and years to come. I have no doubt that this class will emerge with connections to one another and to Nobles that are only deeper for their journey. Thank you so much for watching today. All of you watching have been such an important part of the lives of our graduates. While we might be physically disconnected, there is no doubt that they are feeling your support and your investment in them now more than ever before. We look forward to welcoming Class 1 students and their families to campus later today to pick up their diplomas. They will emerge from campus, graduates of the class of 2020 from the Noble and Greenough School. Congratulations.
spite of ourselves, we'll end up a-sitting on a rainbow. Against all odds, honey, we're the big door prize. We're gonna spike our noses right off of our faces. There won't be nothing but big old hearts dancing in our eyes. In spite of ourselves, we'll end up a-sitting on a rainbow. Against all odds, honey, we're the big door prize. We're gonna spike our noses right off of our faces. There won't be nothing but big old hearts dancing in our eyes. There won't be nothing but big old hearts dancing in our eyes. In spite of ourselves.